Okay, today's video is going to be about finding a problem and offering a solution to that problem. What really brought me to YouTube, if you watch some of my videos, you'll kind of hear what actually brought me to the platform. In my research, I was trying to figure out something when it came to how I was making my money at the time. And that's what initially brought me to the platform. I became a viewer during that time because I was also learning other stuff. Whether it was during the time I was going through, I was having car problems, I was trying to figure out something on my car. I was trying to, but really got me going there was the gambling that I was doing at the time. I'm trying to learn different patterns and systems about how stuff works. So I'm looking at videos to see where are the patterns and how can I apply that, because at the time I was getting into the whole scratch off things, and really I hate scratch off. I didn't like scratch offs at first because I thought it was so random until I started noticing that there was a pattern, and I realized it wasn't as random as people thought it was. So I started watching videos, educating myself on the topic of trying to win money. Okay, that's basically what it was. Because a revenue that I actually had, that I had figured the system out, had went away, and I no longer had that. So now I had to look for another way of making money on top of what I was making at the time. And at the time, funds wasn't all that great. So I was trying to find it from whatever angle I could find it at, you know? But that's originally what brought me to the YouTube platform. But my mind frame has always been business minded. So if I'm going to jump into something, I need to now find out what it is I am actually jumping into. And that's what brought me to understand the platform of YouTube. Because during those times, I was actually just a viewer, and I was taking notice from watching other people. I wasn't actually doing it myself, right? I was just looking at what was happening to various people. And during that time, I saw a major problem that ran across this platform. A lot of people were saying the same thing. And normally, because it was, no matter what platform, what video I was watching, it was always the same thing. If they were creators of the video and they were talking or not talking about or mentioning about their journey that they were on. Hence why my first name for my channel was me, Tamira's Life Journey. Because when I jumped on the platform, that's all I heard, people talking about the journey. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just name mine Tamira's Life Journey. I'll talk about my life, all right, on what I'm going through at the time. But I had so much turmoil going on during that time that it was kind of hard to focus on if I really wanted to get onto the channel or not. But I still saw a problem that was running rampant through the system. I've always told you the biggest investment you can make is investing in yourself. And anytime you invest in anything, you need to know what you're investing in, including yourself, right? So before I could figure out why everybody had the same problem, I need to first understand the system, right? And so that took me into learning about the YouTube system. Well, I could only learn so much as an outsider that I had to jump into the system to find out exactly what was going into, you know, what was actually happening. Because I could see it the outside looking in. I could see it, but I couldn't relate to what was going on because I was not inside the system. I was not in the system as a creator. I was in the system as a viewer, right? So now I had to get inside the system, learn it somewhat as a creator, not just a viewer. Because although I saw some problems that were going on, in order to be able to relate to those problems that creators were having, I myself had to become a creator. And so therefore, my journey went to doing YouTube channels. Okay. Now, when I got into it, I tried to do the whole gambling side of it, but that got expensive, because if you ain't got a lot of viewers and they're not helping and insisting you in doing that, well, you're spending more money than you're making. So that kind of wasn't what I was going to jump into. So the next thing I thought to get into for this platform was transportation, because I got 16 plus years of transportation, and I know that industry inside and out. I can talk about transportation industry from all different sides and all different levels all day long, right? So I was going to jump into the transportation industry, and I did. But when I was doing that, I stumbled upon budgeting, right? Budgeting actually helped me with financial issues that I was going through. And then therefore, it took me off into my whole financial literacy and understanding finances, because what I thought I knew about finances, I really did not know. So that took me on that journey. But no matter where I turned in the platform, that problem that I saw, every time I was watching it as a viewer, I now saw as a creator, and I was gaining knowledge of the problem, right? So I really dug deep. I really started digging in. Now I'm a creator. I'm behind the scenes. I can see what's actually happening to the thing. I can now relate to what these creators were talking about. But I really wasn't in it hardcore. It took a tragedy to actually get me to really sit down and focus on what was there. Over all the years I had accumulated this knowledge, I now was able to implement it the way I wanted to. And then there was always the problem. So when you find a problem, the best thing to do after decluttering all that you know, because notice I wrote a lot up here, and it will confuse you once you start gaining information and writing stuff down, because you got all this stuff in your forefront. So you got to clear it, right, out of your way, and really focus in on what your mission and goal is. Because now the problem that I saw, now it became my problem as well. And sometimes things get thrown in your way that you lose focus on the problem. So when doing your YouTube channel, you need to first identify whatever the problem is in your niche. In my belief, you don't really have to focus on one narrow-minded niche. Maybe that was the case in the past, but that is not the case now. So when you realize, when you get into something, find what the problem is and offer a solution to that problem. Once you have a solution, a valid, and not just something that you're just throwing out there to the wind, but a valid solution, it'll get people to start noticing you, because now you're helping people with their problem, right? And just so happened, by me becoming a creator, my problem ended up being their problem as well. Now I see what everybody else is complaining about. And it was really, a lot of people was getting stuck at a certain point, or there was no growth happening within it, but they were doing everything everybody told them to do. So clearly there is a miss or disconnect somewhere if more people aren't being able to be successful and everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. So now my goal was to find a solution to the problem that now brought me all this research that I did on the channel. And that's exactly what I've done and have been doing since I have got serious about my YouTube channel, is helping as many small content creators as possible to get further their journey. And everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to look different from the other person's journey. Even though you hear some of the same things, you're going to get it in different ways depending on each creator that you watch. As long as that creator is actually giving you valuable information that's going to help you progress in your journey, then take it. All that other nonsense, put it in your head and take it right back out of the other one, because it's not going to help you in the long run. It might be entertaining, but it's not going to help you, right? So once you identify a problem, find a solution and make sure the solution is a good one. Then you'll have attention on you, right? In doing so, this would lead me into rebranding my channel, not starting another one, but just rebranding my whole concept. Because when I first got into it, I was listening to everybody else, thinking that you had to be real narrow-minded about your niche, that you had to do this and do that and do this and do that, because that's what you were told to do, basically being herded in one direction versus people just telling the truth. Then I saw another issue. Well, a lot of people were doing this because they were building they was building something within a platform, which is nothing wrong with doing it. But the way the stages were set up is because the reason why they're not really giving you all the information that you need, because they're moving you from one point to the next. They're moving you from, hey, you're just watching my information, to 1, you're intrigued with my information. Then 2, I'm going to get your information. Then 3, I'm going to sell you something else. And then 4, I'm going to take you completely off of this platform. That's what was happening. That's why people aren't telling you everything and being completely honest with you about what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, when you realize the business that you're in a business of marketing and sales. And I come from a sales background. So once I saw what was actually happening here, I could identify as to what was now what the creators are doing. And so when you're in sales and marketing, that is really up to the individual that is doing it. So what a lot of creators that were complaining will not tell you is a lot of them was not doing it the right way. A lot of them wasn't really putting the time in that they were trying to make you believe that they were putting in. And there is 2 stories. There is 3 sides to every story, right? Some people, after that, when they realize that it plays on people's sympathy, they will use that as, this is why my channel is not growing. I did this for all these years and nothing happened. Well, if you're going to say that, then you also need to tell us what you did all those years that wasn't making it progress either, okay? Yes, there are things that the YouTube people are doing and playing off of because they have studied the behavior of people, right? They're in your head, folks, right? But there is also reasons behind that, because you yourself are not doing what you need to do in order to make your stuff progress. Most people get stuck on the learning part, the knowledge. They never take what that knowledge is and apply it to themselves. They never do. All right? And then will critique everybody else other than applying this stuff to themselves, right? That's where when people or creators get attracted to or attached to a wave, it becomes dangerous. Because of your lack of really learning the system that you are in, you finally what some call lucked up on a wave. It really ain't luck. It's more about just being positioned, right? But because your lack of not learning the system the way you should have, right? Because you were so reliant on other people to tell you versus you finding out for yourself, right? That also played a part in why you did not grow. But the danger of it, when you caught it on a wave, now you don't know how to explain why you have all this success when all those years you didn't do anything with it, right? So that's what's happening there. Then the other side is, well, then you got people who are just I hate to tell y'all this. You got some people who are just the big G, right? They're gullible. It's just some people are gullible. It is what it is, right? You can play on their lack of knowledge all day long, right? They'll eat up entertainment, but spit out knowledge. And that can be very dangerous when you're mixing that up with people who actually want to know. So what I did when I was trying to get this information out to people, that same method of moving people through to try to get them to buy a course, I used that same method to weed out gullible people that definitely just did not want the information, and they were wasting now my time. Because, you know, time is one of the most precious things that you have, because you'll never be able to get the time back. You can always make the money back. You can never get the time back. Once the time is gone, it's gone. Right? So, once we know all this, there is a thing in sales we used to say, it was called KISS. Basically, it was keep it simple, stupid, right? A lot of times when people want to go into teaching, they explain it too deep, right? So I brought out something about the AI system, and I know I did a live last night with someone. I was talking on the phone about it, and you know he's very aware with tech, so I didn't have to dumb down what I was saying with him because he could really understand what I was saying. So he's very informational with tech. So the little that I know about tech, I could talk to him in technical terms. But when you're talking to the masses of people, you want to make it as simple as possible. So now what I have to do about what I've learned with the AI system, which is the new system, I have to figure out a way to dumb it down, right? I got to dumb it down, because if I don't, most people will not get the concept. It will go straight over their head and they will never see what I'm saying. A perfect example of this is when I made a post over on my commentary side, right? And something had happened between Dalen and Amber. Dalen is Amber's husband, best friend, and Amber is Anthony's wife, right? What ended up happening was Dalen kissed Amber a couple of scenes prior to this scene that I was now doing a commentary, and I made a title. The title was Amber had the keys to the house, right? I was just playing on a situation. I said Amber had the keys to the house, right? And everybody in the comments were like, no, she didn't. If she had the key, then what was she knocking on the door for? How did he let her in the house if she had the key? You're wrong. Actually, I'm not. I was literally just playing on what had happened a couple of skits back, right? The keys was the kiss that Dalen kissed his best friend's wife. And so if he didn't let her in that door, she was going to run and tell the best friend that his best friend kissed her. So she had that key of knowledge to get her in the door, to make him open that door and give her access to her husband. That was the key, okay? But in saying all of that, it puts me back to this. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, two things happened with that title. It brought me a lot of views. It brought a lot of people to my channel. It brought a lot of engagement, but what it also did was confuse a lot of people, because a lot of people, although I saw the sense of humor of it, although I knew what was happening, and some other people did as well, a lot of people was not catching on to what I was saying. So it's always good to keep it simple, stupid when you're doing things, right? And no matter what the niche is, you could find ways to tap into other niches, no matter what it is that you're talking about. You just got to know how to do it, strategize it, and do it the right way, right? But always keep it interesting. Like on my channel, you will see I got two things going on at the same time. I got the two ways that YouTube's split up going on my channel simultaneously. I got, because YouTube's splitting straight down the middle. It's either entertainment or it is educational. That's all that's going on here. Educational or entertainment. So on my channel, I got my content split. I have an entertaining side and I have an educational side. And I find ways always to blend the two, right? Because my educational side is what's giving me my entertainment side is what's giving me my views and what's giving me my watch hours in such a short period of time. Is what's bringing people to my channel. But while all that is happening, I am implementing the educational side of it to help the people who are there that are just not viewers. Now on the entertainment side, is more viewers than there are creators on my platform, right? But I'm still finding ways to merge the two worlds together, right? So try to do that, well, no matter what niche you're in. That's why I feel like it really don't matter about the niche, right? It doesn't. Because you can find ways to do multiple niches at one time. You just got to get a little crafty. That's where your creativity comes into play. But in all, stay engaged with your audience. Engagement is telling your audience to like, share, subscribe, and make comments. The whole video come to life in the comments section. There you will be able to talk with your community. There you will be able to find new ideas to talk about. There is where it will trigger the algorithm to show that people want more of it. You don't get comments in your videos, 9 out of 10, you ain't getting tractions in your videos either. Unless it's just something seriously everybody just want to watch, right? So make sure your engagement with your audience is top tier. And I hate using the word audience. I like to say community or fam, all right? So this is going to conclude today's lesson or tips for YouTube. But as always, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. Learn your system, y'all. And toodles.